This game is mentioned in a book on the birds opening by Timothy Taylor, this book here, which I basically got to see if I could find a decent line against the birds opening, which is perhaps a slightly underrated opening. And this game, I think White played it in quite an unorthodox manner, but possibly people who know the birds better than me think it's quite a normal way to play it, but there we go. Anyway, without further ado, White plays the birds. Oh no, he doesn't. What happened there? That's not the birds. There we go.
Not sure theoretical knowledge went that far, Colin, actually.
Right, okay. Sure it does. In this line.
Can I just make a silly comment at the very beginning? Is that after one F4, I sometimes play, or what move do you think I might play? You know?
I shudder to think. Well,
it's tempting to play E5, isn't it?
Yes.
I do play E5, but I've given up E5 for this other move now. So what do you think?
Not F5.
No.
Okay.
E5.
No.
Knight C6.
No.
Well, it can't be the boring D5 then. Oh, sorry, that was the.
No.
E6.
No.
G5.
No.
C6.
H5.
No.
Oh, give up.
Have we tried B5?
You haven't tried it, but if you did, you'd be wrong.
Who would you if you played it? So.
Well, oh dear.
Andrew, we're on the edge.
I mean, how many first moves are there? And it's very
20.
poor show. You haven't come up with it yet. Very poor show.
Well, it's either a knight move or a pawn move.
Correct.
You.
But that's the first correct thing you said.
Ever.
Could be here all night.
Knight H6.
Correct.
Oh no. Wow.
Oh, please.
What, preventing F5?
H6.
You've been reading too many Myers bulletins.
The idea is the idea is if E4, then you play D5.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, if E4, did you say?
Yeah.
Then D5.
Yeah. And you're trying to secure the F5 square for your knight. And if they play D3, you swap the pawns, swap the queens, and then you go knight G4, which is a bit annoying.
Okay.
And then so I played that a couple of times, and
yeah, that's interesting.
For some reason, it confuses my opponents. I don't know why, but I just thought I'd mention it as and it's not my invention, by the way. It actually was suggested in the New in Chess unexpected moves. There's a series of books of unsurprising moves, about 20 of them, and they come up with all sorts of outlandish ideas, and it was one of the ones mentioned in there, and it actually makes sense.
It kind of does make, now you've explained it. I was well, this book has got a section in it called let me think, unusual defenses, and it isn't in there.
Even more unusual than unusual.
Indeed, it needs another section, and it does have some of the moves we suggested, like F5, which appears to have been played by Alekin on one occasion, and other stuff that we mentioned.
It is good though to have a kind of pre-prepared line for these sorts of things, because if you know it and you've only spent an hour on it, it's 59 minutes more than most people have spent on it. So it's probably going to be helpful, isn't it?
Yeah, you need all the help you get if you played knight H6 move.
I mean, White's trying to get the opponent out of book, so.
And the other idea, of course, is in the birds. White is often trying to play b3. So by putting knight on h6 rather than g6, you're not blocking the. So if now white plays b3, black can now play d5, and then if bishop b2, you can play d4 to block out that bishop, and then you can support it with g6 and bishop g7, and then the knight comes to f5 to support it.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
Different.
So although it looks absolutely ridiculous, there is some logic or some ideas behind it.
Indeed, very interesting.
So anyway, I've already ruined the flow of the presentation that you were doing.
Well, such as it was, Andrew, such as it was. It's
Well, after that, it sounds quite interesting. Au contraire. I mean, crack on, Colin.
Well, yeah, I mean, in some ways, I came across this game because I just wanted a regular method of playing the birds. Because if I learn lots of sharp theory, and I have to face the birds once every 2 years or however often it is, I'll have forgotten it all, and I'll just be sitting at the board wondering what to do. So one of the stock lines, and in fact, Tim Taylor even calls it the recipe in his book, is to play this. And the idea is to have, well, two possible ideas, just to have simple development, maybe swap off bishop for knight at some point, and either play to open up the position with e5 or close it off with e6. And this is kind of what black aims for. But in this game, white had a different idea.
I'm sorry, Colin, to interrupt your flow there, but wouldn't white have played knight e4? Sorry, knight e5?
Knight e5. What, here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure. I guess black isn't going to kick it away with f6, is he? Supposing black just drops the bishop back to
h5.
To there, yeah,
What?
f5.
Yeah.
And play knight d7. I don't know, d3 here, e3.
You've even got g4. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, maybe it's another line to look at.
Well, maybe another line. You got bishop e4 and reply to g4. And then maybe challenge the knight with knight d7.
Yeah, I was thinking knight g4 before e3.
Oh, I see. Sorry. Okay.
And then you can't play bishop. Oh, sorry. Of course you can. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, something else to look at.
You can play e3 as well and threaten queen h4. But
I'm not certain what Colin's coming up with here. All joking to one side for once in my life, but a very discredited book called Snatched Opportunities on the Chessboard by Lombardi recommends in the bird that you don't rush to play knight f3. His reasoning being that when you do, it'll be pinned. Yeah. So I think what he likes is then to get cracking with the queenside fianchetto for the sake of a move or two.
Okay.
I'm not saying that's great, but it's what the Reverend Grandmaster said. It just might be worth knowing. I don't know. It's just a little wrinkle.
Yeah.
There was also a book by Len Pickett, who's one of my ex-club mates, and he wrote a book on.
There is indeed. My God, there is indeed.
And he used to get my my club mate Norman Oliver playing the birds, and Norman played the birds for many years. I think they used to play this move order until somebody.
That's it. That's what I was cracking on about.
Somebody then at the British in this position went d4, which both Len and Norman felt, if not refuted, this system. It really sort of ruined the fun.
I think it is quite a good move in this position, isn't it?
I don't know, that's what they said, and hence soon afterwards Norman stopped playing the birds opening because of that move.
Okay.
I don't think it's that good, but it's it does block off the diagonal, similar to what I was talking about with the knight h6 and knight f5.
Yeah, and it makes C3 or E4 hard, less effective, doesn't it? Harder to play. Yeah, as James said, all these little wrinkles. Anyway, initially, Danielsen, the player of the white pieces, plays fairly conventionally. Sorry, that didn't happen. And black pins the knight. Oh, well, not a pin yet, but it is now, I guess. Black develops, and white puts the question to the bishop. Almost always in this line, black takes, white takes back, and black continues developing. So, shall we start guess the move now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, any suggestions for white's next move?
B3?
G3?
No, B3.
B3?
Yep.
That looks totally sensible, of course. Yeah, looks like a good move. It wasn't played.
G4?
Sorry.
G4?
G4 was played indeed.
Ah.
Yeah. I like G4.
Yeah, just going for it.
Yeah.
So, okay. There are alternatives. We won't go into all the theory. And black here replied with E6. Tim Taylor makes a case that black should really open up the position now.
I was gonna go E5, yeah.
Yeah. Which makes sense. It might be a bit of a sacrifice. White can still disrupt black by playing G5, but the way the game goes, black ends up being a little bit passive, as we will see. So he plays E6, white plays D3, and here black decides to throw in a check. One of these, as Tim Taylor puts it, one of these finesses that grandmasters like to play. And how would white respond? Quite an easy question, really.
Bishop D2 is obvious, isn't it?
Bishop D2, well, probably most moves are obvious responses, but perhaps more in keeping with the moves he's played already.
C3 then.
C3. So on the grounds that we don't want to develop any pieces anytime soon. So black goes back to D6. And what white plays now is very logical. I guess G5 might be a logical move as well, but what white chooses, you know, probably what he wants to play in this opening.
E4.
E4 indeed. That takes, goes E5 back. So
are these grandmasters, these two players?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You got Danielsen, or is it Danielsen? I'm not sure. Playing white, and Thomas Luther, who's pretty stylish.
I know. Yeah, I've heard of him. Yeah.
Yeah. Is he Swiss or Austrian? Maybe.
It says German at the top.
Oh, does it? Okay. Oh, I think that's the tournament. Oh, yes, it does say Ger. You're quite right. So he is in fact German. Fair enough. And he plays or has played the one of the openings I've played, maybe the Alekhins or the French or both, and you know, quite a stylish way.
I think he's actually even played for Slough in the 4NCL when I played for Slough when Slough were a strong team.
Oh wow! Okay.
I think he was one of the imports that Tony Miles managed to persuade to play.
Excellent. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So white, of course, plays a pawn move. That retreats. And what does white play here? Quite
F5.
natural.
F5.
F5.
Gotta be F5.
Black challenges these pawns, and white supports it with
H4.
H4. And here, black played probably the first move that you could really call a mistake. What he probably should do is play Queen E7. and look to castle queenside. And white's probably still a bit better, despite his complete lack of development. But I think white can play knight to d2 to c4, maybe bishop, actually maybe bishop e3 first. You know, just put that bishop under a bit of pressure, bring the rook to d1, you know, with good play. But I think black got fed up with this pawn clamp on the king side and decided to do something about it. So he tried bishop e7, which at first glance thinks that white's got to do something about it. Black's threatening to take here. You know, so white comes up with a really nice way of pretty much paralyzing the black king side.
G6.
G6 looks like a good move. Possibly after taking, black gets out of jail.
Well, can you take on h4 with check?
That's also looks eminently reasonable. Yeah. I think you can is the answer to that question.
Oh, except you can take it and then mate on f7, I've just realised.
Well, no, it's check when you take back.
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah, and then you can put something on f6, perhaps the queen, perhaps the knight. So that must surely be playable as well. But the point is, black's kind of freed his position, or white's freed black's position for him.
Or black could just play f6, and then surely the pawn structure's all jammed up.
Yeah, that might be possible.
After g6, of course, yeah.
Yeah. So, blast. You didn't see that, did you? Yeah, so after bishop e7, mucking this up, put bishop e7 on the board. So after g6, f6 possibly, it does jam anything up. I think you've got to say white's probably got more space here.
Yeah.
And this bishop could become super strong.
Yeah.
So I suspect taking it and then developing is, or taking on h4, as James suggests quite rightly, might be a better way of doing it.
What about now bishop c4?
Bishop c4, that looks like a good move.
And if takes on g5, take on h1, take back with the queen, bishop takes pawn, and then queen h8.
Yeah.
Gosh.
If I was black, I'd really be regretting not having moved my queen and been able to castle long.
Actually, instead of queen h5, actually, instead of queen h8.
Okay, queen h5. Oh, queen h5 is winning, isn't it? In fact, by the look of it, let's do an overwrite. So hitting f7 and hitting the bishop on g5.
Well, you can play bishop h4 check.
You can play bishop h4 check followed by queen move, I guess.
Yeah.
King to random square. Queen f6.
Yeah. It doesn't quite work. I mean, you could play bishop takes f7 check and then queen takes h4. But it's not. It's probably just slight advantage to white.
Yeah. Yeah, with the king, I mean, I'll put the king on f1 where it's susceptible to this check, of course. But I agree. I think black would settle for this, put it like that.
Yeah.
Black would settle for that. Yeah. I think bishop c4 must be a strong move.
So, Colin, are you saying it's about equal? Sorry, I'm being a bit...
I'd say probably that's about equal. White is a pawn up.
Yes.
Black is threatening queen c4 check. And...
Yes, he is.
Yeah, I suppose. Oh, actually, he couldn't have put his king on f2, could he? I mean, that threat is easy enough to counter with knight d2, but then black castles. Not sure. White's a pawn up, but I think black's got a fair amount of counterplay. Probably against the e-pawn. Not sure. So, notwithstanding that, in this position, what white found, didn't play bishop c4, but white found a move which kind of stopped black from doing anything on the king side in a single move.
Queen H5.
Queen H5. Yep. So
Oh, come on.
continuing to ignore this rubbish about developing pieces and castling or anything like this. So the H pawn is now pinned, obviously. G6 is not possible. You just take it twice and probably checkmate black into the bargain. And obviously F6, the pawn's pinned. And black has put his bishop on E7. Presumably black just completely missed Queen H5 when he played bishop E7, because it looked otherwise like white would have to compromise somewhere on the queen side. So
I think, Colin, Queen H5, it's obviously a good move, but coming up with that, moving your queen twice when you would have thought, no, I need to move some of the other pieces.
Yeah,
I think that they came up with that move.
Yeah, absolutely. I think most players would have a sort of almost an emotional desire to start moving one of their move a minor piece in that position and get it out.
Yeah.
I think if the queen had been on D1, it might have been an easier move to see as well. As you say, having to move it twice is something. So Queen H5, rightly given 2 exclamation marks by the author of the book, Tim Taylor. Yeah. So black plays knight B. Queen H5, also bishop C4 is a massive threat, because it's very hard to defend F7, obviously, with the bishop on E7. And maybe black should have moved the bishop rather than the knight, so that he could bring the queen to E7. But he chose knight B6, which looks a pretty reasonable move. Oh, sorry, I didn't play guess the move. So white played a developing move at last. Black prepares to castle queenside. Knight comes out, threatening to go to B5 or C4, I guess, if black castles queenside. Black stops this. So, as I recall, black kind of, collapsed fairly quickly at some point. So black doesn't bother, well, you can't defend the F7 pawn, come to think about it. Black kind of just seems to put up with the fact that the F7 pawn is lost. Notice this incident, sorry.
You could play G6 instead of castling.
Oh, G6 instead of castling?
Oh,
yeah, that's a point.
Maybe,
That's a good one.
That's a good point.
Would you sacrifice the bishop at this point? And
It's
then
tempting.
it takes G6.
So check, king takes, otherwise you're just a pawn down with an appalling position.
No.
Does it work though?
No.
Well, we can castle with check.
Castle check.
Oh, yeah.
Always a stylish move, castling with check. Come on.
Can I not castle?
Yes.
So that I leave the option of moving the G
Ooh,
pawn.
beautiful. Where does the
Colin, if
queen
you
go?
didn't know about castling, you should have said. I mean, we could have helped you out. You're amongst friends.
I can have. I touched the rook first with my mouse.
Oh yes.
and you're leaving the option to castle queenside, of course.
Of course. Good spot. But how good is this for white? Is it convincing?
No.
Check. Does it get us anywhere?
King H7 now, because if you play queen, knight takes pawn, then you've got rook G1.
Yeah.
So you've got to play king H7.
80.
Showing the benefit of not casting.
Oh,
Good move.
wow,
That's quite good.
Good night.
That works, doesn't it, actually? So pawn takes pawn,
That's
check.
a lovely X-ray.
And if
I
knight
like
takes
the bishop.
pawn, rook G1 just wins.
Yeah.
Ouch, ouch, ouch. So, yeah. Actually, it's not the line that Tim Taylor gives, but never mind. That's pretty convincing, isn't it?
Is Tim Taylor sort of about 60 in age-wise? So I think I might have played him many years ago. Is he? How old is he?
I couldn't say, to be honest.
He's American, isn't he?
Yeah, he came
He
over.
might, he might have come to England. I'm not
I
sure.
think in the 1970s, 1980s, I think he came over, and I played him in the Evening Standard Open because they used to pair people that to lose. So I played people like Conquest and players that I was expected to lose, but I kept beating them. So I got to 3 out of 3 or 4 out of 4 or something. And then I suddenly got propelled from the middle of the whole playing hall. Suddenly, they kept expecting me to lose and were pairing me with people that had lost earlier. And then I kept beating them. And then suddenly I went up to the stage, I think on round 5, to play someone called T. Taylor.
All right.
And I lost.
Okay.
So if he's about 60 odd, it's probably him.
Okay. I can't get anything from the blurb in the book on his age or anything.
I think Andrew's right. So I think he's an American master, which might have come over with Eric Schiller or.
Okay.
They sometimes sort of flock over, don't they?
Yeah.
Sadly, not these days.
Yeah. So yeah. But anyway, he just gives Queen F3 here. Yeah, with advantage, whatever. But I think bishop takes pawn check is well,
speculative.
Well,
I suppose he could now play King G7 instead of taking the pawn.
No, that's a point.
And then he uses that G pawn as a shelter for his own king. So you could still play Rook F1, I suppose.
Rook F8.
And then castle.
Why not G takes H6 and forces the king to back up?
Well, you got knight though.
Yeah. Okay.
What about castles kingside for white?
Gone queen.
Castle kingside.
Oh, sorry, kingside.
Yeah, and they're threatening Rook F7.
Is that forced?
And then,
I can't see that. Ooh.
And then you could take the rooks off and play Rook F1.
No, that's a point. That is a point. Yeah, we can't take the king, can we? Because of Rook F1 check.
Yeah, it's Rook F1 anyway, whatever you do.
Rook F1 anyway, yeah. That looks very nasty. Is there a defense? Well,
H takes G5, isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. We've still got Rook F7 there. Oh. A nice checkmate. Quite amusing, really, that what white was so underdeveloped earlier. Now all black.
Suddenly, it's got all these pieces out and it's checkmate.
Yeah, exactly.
I suppose we should run that through the computer to see if taking on F7 is.
Do we want to do that then?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I didn't suggest it, but
We can do.
I think, James, that's a good suggestion.
So it might spoil our illusions, though.
Well, it might just show how bad computers are compared to good analysis by ourselves. No, it doesn't like it. It gives Queen F3, which is what Tim Taylor said.
We'll put bishop takes F7.
Absolutely.
Why didn't it like it?
Oh, it's +1. It's +1 thereabouts. Can you see the analysis bit, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I can't.
So king takes.
Queen and then Queen F3.
Then Queen F3. Why not? What doesn't it like about F takes G6 then?
Yeah.
King G7, I guess.
Okay, it gives some line where black puts a piece on F6 to return the piece, I guess. But so king there, Rook F1.
No, castle.
So it's agreeing with us so far.
No, we should castle, not Rook F1.
Okay, pardon. Castles.
Well, there was a line.
No, castle.
Oh, Queen takes G6 here.
It's a question of timing as much as analysis.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Queen takes G6
Yeah,
here.
because therefore there isn't a bridge on. Oh, hang on.
Now your G pawn's pinned to the king, so that's why it doesn't like casting.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's a shame.
Rook F1 instead.
That's fascinating because we had all the ideas, but as Eric Morecambe would say, we didn't play them in the right order because there's nothing really.
So you can't take on G6 still because of that Rook G1 at the end, and losing his queen.
Yes, that's a point, isn't it?
Rook F7 actually regains the piece, doesn't it? But maybe it's not that great for white afterwards.
What about King E2 now?
Yeah, I was wondering that.
King
H takes
E2.
G5 is...
That repeats everything.
Okay. So we have to conclude that bishop takes F7 check was indeed a bit speculative, I guess.
As I said, we shouldn't have looked at the computer.
Yeah, quite right.
That Luddite.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. So let's turn this chap off. So black castled. I played Rook H2 exclamation mark.
A funny move.
Oh my goodness.
Funny move.
Why?
Lost by Rook D2, doesn't he?
By Rook D2. Yeah. So white's basically better, isn't he? He's better developed. He's got more space. And black's king isn't great, and F7 is dodgy. As I recall, black collapsed fairly shortly afterwards. So he went there. Not sure why he didn't play something else. White took the pawn. Why not? White's a pawn up. It's got the two bishops, better developed, more space. Oh, okay. I think black got desperate. You can't develop anything at the moment. This bishop can barely move. I guess it can go backwards. And that means the knight can barely move. So he tried a little bit of desperation. But the game concluded like this. And black resigned. Sorry, it seemed to suddenly finish there, but to go through it a bit slower. In this position, black just decided to give up the rook. And that, well, the rook at worst, the exchange at best. It has a bid for freedom, but it's clearly not sufficient. White can take the pawn to defend the bishop. Knight G4. What's that good then? F6. If I guess the point is that if black takes with a bishop, white's got bishop E6 check. Then he swaps queens, then he takes the knight, and he's a rook and a piece up, I think, up in that line. And if black takes with the knight, I don't know.
What if black just takes the rook?
That's a good question. Oops.
Or the bishop. Or the bishop. But the rook probably.
So just take that, and we're going to get the rook back. Oh, are we?
No, would you not go straight check first?
Yeah, bishop
With
check.
the bishop.
Okay. Is the move order critical?
Yes,
Check.
because then you can take the bishop clean with the threat of.
Yeah.
No, pawn takes bishop.
Yeah, it's guarded. Yeah. Yeah, that's lost now.
Oh, we're still. What are we up here?
Oh,
We're still good material up, aren't we?
And now castling.
Hmm. Yeah,
that's
like it.
easy for white, isn't it now?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yep, very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
So where did black actually go wrong? Did we decide? He didn't move his queen to enable him to castle queenside at one point. That looked critical. Was that it?
That's right. Instead of
bishop back to E7 looks silly.
Yeah. Oh, Taylor suggests that even playing e6 might just be slightly better for white here, because he can easily grab more space on the king side. And he suggests that black should have played e5. But even failing that,
I think
you're quite right.
bishop b4 looked pretty naff.
Yeah, it did. It was unnecessary at best, probably.
The bishop move at some point looked wrong.
Yeah, that was the big mistake. He had to try queen e7, and black might still try queen h5 and bishop c4.
Or instead of throwing the bishop to b4, he should have just moved his c pawn. So at least he had a queen to a5 check and then castles at some point.
Yeah, that would do. Yes.
Something like that to get out of trouble.
Yeah, maybe.
But he's still got the king pawn, the kingside pawn storm, hasn't he, to worry about?
Yes, he has. Or even just, as a clamp on the position, to
Maybe
give more space.
on principle, maybe he should be swapping the pawns hg5 to swap his passive rook on h8, and then so pawn takes pawn, rook takes. Then he's got rid of his passive rook, and then play queen e7 and then castle queenside, and at least you've got your passive rook off the board.
Yeah, that looks okay for black, doesn't it now?
Yeah.
Yeah, suddenly you've got everything developed of black and the rook lined on D line as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Black's still got a little untangling to do on the king side, though. And that gives white, that just gives white time to develop his pieces. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Very, I don't know.
So what attracted you to this game? It was the birds opening, was it, originally?
What attracted me to the game as a whole was it was so unorthodox.
Right.
You'd be clipping juniors around the year for playing this nonsense, wouldn't you?
I've got one of my games that has some similarities. If we've got time to look at that, then it's not dissimilar.
Absolutely, yeah. So anyway, that was that.
Great, thank you, Colin.
Yes, thank you.
So in order to play chess properly, just shove your pawns up on the king side, move your queen a few times, and don't bother developing any pieces. Is that okay?
Sounds good.
That's how I play chess.
Okay, Tom.
I know Peter Hasson actually finished second in the Bourne End rapid play a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, did he? Okay.
So he was nowhere near the second best player in it, but he finished second ahead of the Hansons. So I know who he is. Who is the other guy? Daniel. Who's Daniel?
So Daniel's plays for Camberley, Daniel Shek.
He's the up and coming junior, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so just to throw some ratings at you, Daniel, as you say, up and coming, 1867. I must admit, Kim thinks he's playing closer to 2000. Peter Hasson, 2079. And so this was a match against Farnham. They were both playing on board one. And I watched the end of the game, and the last sort of 15 moves, when there was a little bit of time trouble, but not too much time trouble, was really makes this whole game worth watching. So so Daniel is playing white, and starts with c4. Are you seeing my moves okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I've noticed that Daniel plays this sort of move order against quite a few of black responses. So I don't know if this classifies this as a system sort of opening, but he rattles out these moves, and he seems to get some interesting open positions. So I think this is fairly standard for the moment. I did have a look at the opening, and all of White's moves here are fairly standard up until the next move, which I wasn't expecting. I guess I was expecting knight f3, but does anybody want to guess what Daniel played?
E5.
E4.
Yeah,
E4.
e4.
Yeah.
So yeah, it might look obvious, but I didn't expect that.
This is the Botvinnik system.
Yeah, Botvinnik.
Okay, all right.
Is it the Dresden? Is it called?
Ooh.
I think it's with the Botvinnik. Normally it's with black, but it can be with white as well.
Mhm.
Right now, I think I did look at this with some. I won't switch the engine on, but I don't think it liked Black's next move. Black played. Well, I think I can't remember. It suggested knight d7, but Black played knight e8, and maybe that was a little bit too far back. And Daniel immediately launches into it, and rather interesting. I thought Black's next move was quite interesting. The sort of move I never play because I don't know. I just find the complexity of this following move too much. So anybody want to guess Peter's move?
F5.
Yeah, exactly. And I just never seem to go for that two opposing pawns.
Surely
like
it's the most complex, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. The battle has been joined, hasn't it?
Yes.
But that's why he plays knight e8, isn't it? That's why he's doing.
Yeah.
He did, but I thought the f4 by Daniel might have stopped him. But yeah, he went for it anyway.
By no means, yes.
Okay, so
the other way of doing it would be to swap the pawn for black to swap the pawns first and then play f5. So you've opened up the bishop diagonal.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
And then white has the problem. There's a dilemma as to which way to recapture that pawn. There's 3 ways, 1, 2, 3, 4 ways to retake it, and it's not obvious which is the best.
Yes.
So you put a dilemma on to white. But if he takes with a pawn, then you play f5. If he takes without, he may play f5 anyway.
I just think this square is looking quite nice.
That's a bit like the every Russian schoolboy position. You know what I mean, Andrew?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm not sure about this position though. In that context.
No, not this position, but with the colours reversed. I mean, recapturing with the G pawn.
Yeah, I mean, if you go in that position, if you go knight d for that position carrying on there, you just did with the knight on d5.
Yes.
f5, knight d5. Maybe black can now play. No, maybe now black can now play knight to d4 and then play c6, getting rid of that knight. And then white gets pushed back.
Yeah.
Instead of knight d5, could white play e takes f5?
Yeah. Bishop takes.
Bishop d5 check. And knight e6. I don't know if this is good for.
Oh, I see. That's quite troublemaking, isn't it?
I suppose we've got to take that.
Yeah. I don't know if we swap the rooks off, but take the bishop, I guess.
Yeah, probably slightly better for white. So probably.
Yeah.
But it's not the end. It's not, you know, it's playable.
No, it's not the end of the game by any means. Yeah, no. All these subtleties and King's Indian type positions.
So
very, very difficult.
Daniel plays e takes f5. Hold on, did I get this right? Sorry, f takes e5, I meant to say, sorry. D takes e5. Right, now, I think from memory, I think Daniel plays the obvious move, which I think I would have played as well. And but I think the engine preferred another move, and I don't know if it was e takes f5. And creating space for the bishop. So Daniel played, might as well put Daniel's move on the board. Daniel played this move, and I think from memory, the preference was E takes F5. Presumably after bishop takes. I think with the bishop here, I think from memory. And Daniel's got quite a good game. But then again, black's not too bad, I guess. The bishops are looking strong for black as well, and he's threatening E4. Well, not right now, actually, but.
I was going to say.
So anyway, so Daniel played knight d5. Knight d4, which I thought was an interesting move. Again, I would have, don't know what other players think, but I just thought, well, after what Daniel plays, which is knight takes, e takes, I thought, well, yeah, is another weak, hasn't Peter just weakened his position there?
Not really. I think he's going to play c6 and kick the knight away. That's what he's trying to do, I think.
And
I think this is fine for black, I would say.
So after e takes, you are correct. This is where Peter now played c6. And I think that that is a blunder because of, I think it's quite complex here, but f takes g.
Ooh.
And I can't remember the line, but certainly that is.
Oh, that does look pretty strong, actually.
I mean, we could play it out if look at what happens if
bishop takes pawn check and queen h5 looks very
yep.
Yeah. Not sure. You might have to play rook takes rook check first. I'm not sure. So sorry, but I say after king, before queen h5, I meant.
Yeah.
No, maybe not. I don't know. No, don't know. Yeah.
No, I would have gone queen h5 first.
Okay, then rook takes rook check and queen f6.
Or knight f6.
Oh, knight f6 too. I was greedily eyeing the g pawn, but I don't know. If
Yeah, that's reasonable, isn't it?
There must be some more forcing line, I think, for white here. I'm not sure. I still like that one. No?
Not sure.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe we could look at that one. Does anybody want me to put the engine on for that move?
Might as well.
Okay.
Why not?
Right. So as you can see, +8. Sorry, +7.5 for
Excellent.
So bishop takes, king takes, and what's the move?
Oh, it is saying rook takes rook, bishop takes, queen h5.
Bishop takes, and it is saying queen h5.
Okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
Why?
So can we just play queen f? Oh, we can't play queen.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Why not queen? Why not a queen move? Queen e7, say. Or anyway, that's it.
Because he checkmate on h7.
Hey.
Well, not now.
Maybe.
Oh, okay. Possibly. Okay. Yeah.
You can see why Daniel maybe didn't see this this line. It's very complex, isn't it? And you've sacrificed a piece, and it's not a clear win.
Yeah.
But yeah, computer thinks that this is almost unstoppable. It looks like we just play a few more moves in this line. Bishop f5, bishop g5, bishop takes g6 to stop the mate. Bishop takes. There you go. Loses queen.
Okay.
But yeah, trying to see all of that, I think, would have been difficult. So, so where were we? I'm going to turn the engine off. I don't want to spoil any of the end. So, E takes F5. Sorry, we go into. So we had C6. Daniel played F6.
So you've still got the engine on by the looks of it.
No, I'm sorry. It's showing the moves now. I'm sorry. This is the disadvantage of doing the method I've used. So you'll just have to ignore this analysis now on here. If I could hide it, I would.
Okay, all right.
All right. So so Daniel played F6. Knight takes F6, and we have a big exchange of pieces.
Why not the bishop forking the rook at some point? Oh no, before that, the knight. Yeah, why not the? Oh no, because the pawn just takes the knight. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and so we have Queen B3, Queen E7. Nice strong move, threatening to come down to E1.
Bishop F4.
That certainly looks reasonable. Stops the queen coming in, develops the piece. I think that looks like a good move, and maybe in that position it looks fairly even. Daniel played Bishop E4.
Stops it altogether. Yeah.
Well, then we have Bishop F5, and you can see now that it's. I think you're right. Bishop F4 would have been the move, because after Bishop takes, we have Queen takes, and I think Black's position here. So Black is doing fairly well here, and what we have after King G2 is we have a couple of repetitions.
Rook F8 there. No, right. Okay.
Is that the most Black can hope for? Petrol?
No, because now you'll see the line. We have G takes F, and then
Why
I
not,
think
why not Rook F8 in that last position?
Yeah,
Hey, look, Bishop.
that's monster.
Does Bishop E6 get you out of jail? Not really.
I do. King H8. Oh, Queen takes Bishop, yeah.
Yeah, then Bishop. It's not that impressive for Black, is it still?
It would have been C5 following to pin the queen. At least then White gets his. Yeah.
so after G takes, Daniel played this.
Oh,
Without any fear.
you didn't want to take on B7?
Not Rook E8 there.
Yeah, there might not be
Why
a-
not check first and then Rook E8? So Queen E1, then Rook E8.
Is the king going to H3 for its holidays?
Well, might be an unpleasant little stay. I'm not sure.
Well, the king does go. If you haven't seen the game, you'd be surprised where the white king goes to.
Okay.
Walkabout.
I'm,
Classic walkabout.
if anybody could guess, it's a bit like the start of the Collins. No, so it was Andrew, wasn't it? About the first move.
Oddest.
I'm willing to wager that anything at high odds that you can't guess where white's king ends up in the game. But anyway, so let's.
Well, I'm going out a bit of a limb here. What about G1?
No.
Oh, well, that's me finished then.
So anyway, we have rook f8. Queen takes b7, I think was suggested. Queen e1 again. And so this is the position. Oh, hold on. I hope I haven't played this. Can you just bear with me a second while I...
Where's the computer?
Well, can't you turn that off by just clicking the box at the top, Mark?
Sorry, turn what off?
All the analysis and the stockfish analysis.
Sorry, this stockfish analysis is old analysis. So what click what box?
The cross at the top there, next to your mouse.
That just puts the engine back on.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay. Well,
Yeah.
you must be able to view and get rid of it. Anyway, I'm not looking at it deliberately, so it's just distracting.
Yeah, apologies. Lesson learned about. I was looking to try and see if I could hide this.
Oh.
So King's got to move, hasn't it? Obviously.
A lot of choice, the king.
What about so rook e8? What about f4? Is that a move? You just gone rook e8, is it? What about f4 there?
No.
Take with the bishop.
And the rook's on breeze in the corner.
Mm.
I like it.
Mm.
If he takes with the pawn, play rook g8.
That loses.
Oh. Mm. Looks pretty strong for black, doesn't it? This
That's a
position.
stylish denouement, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, but let's go with this one, which I'm not sure if white's got a different defense, but I think after this move from memory, it is black to play and mate in 6.
Ooh.
So Peter Hasson to play, checkmate in 6, has about 2 minutes on the clock. Or maybe a little bit more, but I seem to recall that, and Daniel's got a little bit more. Daniel's got about 6. So the first few moves, I think, are reasonably obvious.
I think I can see it.
So do you want to mention the next moves then?
I'd say rook e2 check,
Yeah.
king h3,
Yes.
queen f1 check,
Yes.
king h4,
Yes.
rook takes h2 check,
Yes.
king g5.
You see where the king's going? Right, next
Rook
move.
Rook h5 check.
Well, congratulations.
Nice.
That is the move that Peter missed. And, you know, not surprisingly, with less than a minute to go, Peter played this move, which I think looks almost obvious. Now, after Peter Hasson having black to play and mate in 6, what do you think the engine now says after this move?
Winning for white.
White's winning.
Yeah, white to play and mate.
King f6.
How
So,
serendipitous.
yeah, king f6.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Black has one more check on the board, so gives it bishop g7. Anybody guess the winning move?
King f7.
F7.
Yeah. Now you can,
So black forces the white king up there.
yeah,
Mating.
only to see it become white's well, one of white's strongest pieces. And
Yeah.
you know, poor Peter at this stage, there's no way out of this anyway.
Shoot.
So
Played-
H5.
Well, well, okay. I may as well play the move. Peter played h6.
It's the bishop on c1, that's the killer.
Queen e8 check. king
Yeah,
h7. And of course, if he played h5, then the bishop.
Oh, the bishop.
probably-
Sorry. Yeah. Good
Yeah.
point. Good
Saying,
point. Good
yeah.
point. Very good point. Yeah. Sorry, I was blind. Yeah. Very good. Very good.
That's incredible because he hasn't developed his rook or bishop yet.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the theme of this evening. No development.
White's mated with his queen and he's supported it with his king that was chased by black.
Yeah.
There's an expression which I've never seen in a book, but I've heard used, which is too much gardening, meaning planless development.
Can you go back, Mark, to the critical? Was it H5? I can't remember now.
It's that
Yeah.
move.
Rook h5.
Yeah.
So at that moment, Andrew said rook h5.
Yeah, you
Okay.
saw that, Andrew, straight away, or 4 moves back. But is that so obvious? It's not, is it? Yeah,
No.
I guess it.
Of course, it's not.
Well, you got to say he's under pressure with time as well, so it's a different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
So-
face it, they're both very good players.
Watching this live and quite astounded, and I think Peter just couldn't believe what happened in front of him. But you,
Be interesting to know whether Daniel saw rook h5 check and whether he was expecting to lose.
I think Daniel was expecting to lose, and I
Yeah.
did notice that Daniel was tapping the table regularly in frustration. And I was thinking, if I was Peter, I'd be telling him to stop because he was making a rather loud noise. But I think all of a sudden the tapping stopped when we got to this position.
Well, I don't know the other young man. Is he a junior as well?
He's about 11 years old.
Oh, really?
A
Yeah.
bit more than that now.
Is he? Sorry.
Yeah.
Well,
13, 14, I think, 13.
But the Farnham player is. That's what I don't.
Oh, Peter is,
Oh, no.
is around about
No.
what, 45?
Oh, right. Is right. Okay. Well, that's not really a junior, is it?
No,
Okay.
no. Peter's been on a few of these calls actually. So
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
yes.
He is perhaps a junior related to you, James.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Andrew, for that.
Oh yeah. So sorry about the analysis here, and yeah,
No
I'm just going to just to show the way the engine changes it all.
Oh, yeah. Show us that bit. Yeah.
So yeah, so we get to here, and then you can see queen takes c6, mate in 6. Andrew worked it out,
Andrew saw it so fast it was.
and then suddenly it flips. So from mate in 3, suddenly white mate in 5.
Wow.
So it's hard to believe that that's white to play and win. I thought so. Yeah, very impressed with Daniel winning that game. It didn't change the course of the match, unfortunately. So, but yeah, I thought quite impressive game. You could say he was lucky, but he does have a tendency to keep being lucky at the moment. So there's something about the way he plays.
Excellent experience for him, I think, to go through that situation as well.
Yes.
Because you've got to think very carefully with all these positions, haven't you? Anything can happen. You've got to check everything.
Yeah.
Gosh, yeah, good game. Right.
Okay.
Okay, that's it.
Very good. Thank you,
Yeah,
Mark.
very good.
Yeah.
Nice game.
With regard to games, I was going to revive my my choice of game and give it the game between A.P. Smith and C. Purdon from 1976.
Oh no.
In Southern Counties Junior Jamboree. How about showing that one?
That sounds like a good one. 76. Where was that played?
That's a matter of opinion, Martin. Yeah.
I don't know where it was played, but it was the Southern Counties, I think, Junior Jamboree. I'm not sure where it was. Do you actually remember the game?
I think I remember it once you start it. Is this in your book, Andrew?
It is, yeah.
Okay. I must. Okay.
Have you got the book then? I didn't know you had it.
No, I haven't.
Oh, no.
Oh, what a surprise! No, well,
But,
Have you got the book there, Andrew?
I keep on meaning to contact you to get it, Andrew, so I will do.
Okay, I'm white and Colin is black. E4,
No.
E5, F4,
Oh,
EF,
robbery with violence.
knight F3. And Colin now goes for the Fisher defence to the King's Gambit, D6.
Hey, I suspect my theory ended here.
D4, attacking the F pawn. So you went G5, guarding the pawn.
Oh,
H4, attacking, undermining it, which is not really, well, G4 now.
It's kind of
This
forced,
is
isn't
not
it?
this is not the way white is supposed to play it, because white, well, I think now maybe knight H2, but I went knight G5.
Yeah, I think I remember my mistake, actually. I should play this, I believe.
You can, but I don't think it makes a huge difference. But
that was terrible.
I mean,
Wait,
I can still play knight F7 if I want to.
Yeah, that's right. But you're not winning a pawn. Ah.
But yeah, F6 may be better, but it's not the end of the world.
Okay.
H6 was played anyway. Knight takes F7. There's a version of what they call the Alligator Gambit, but it's not quite, because it's you've got the extra move D6 in, I think, which normally is not in there.
It's D4, which is not, isn't it? Bishop C4 rather than D4.
Yeah, well, yeah. King takes F7. Bishop C4 check. King could go to G7, which somebody else called Wilcox played against me. But
RJ Wilcox.
yeah, you played King E8.
What's wrong with white? Oh, Bishop E6 just loses the G pawn, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I went back to E8.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know any theory. I didn't know any theory then. And I don't know any theory now. I was just playing at that time. It was a point of principle to play the King's Gambit. I didn't know much about it.
Well, I took it up many years later. Yeah.
Bishop takes F4. Knight C6. Knight C3. Bishop G7. Attacking my D pawn. So I think, what have I got now? I've got one pawn for a knight, haven't I? So when I'm ahead in development and you can't castle.
Right.
Bishop back to E3, protecting that pawn. Knight F6.
Yeah, that doesn't look right, does it? Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. It's a developing move. I
Yeah.
play
Oh, come on.
Rook F1.
Okay.
I could have castled, but I went Rook F1.
Yeah.
So if you take I'm sort of eyeing up F7 square, I suppose. Now you went Queen E7, hitting my E pawn.
Yeah.
So I went Queen D2. Not worried about you taking my E pawn.
My insignificant threats.
Yeah. So I'd actually already had this position, funnily enough, as weird it is, against someone called S. Popham.
No, it's not F Popham, it's SJ Popham.
Yeah, do you know him?
Well, I didn't know him personally, but yeah, he was a strong player, about your strength.
That was in the previous. That was also around the same time.
Right. Yeah.
So I played. So now you didn't take the E pawn, whereas I think he did.
God, it's been on his mind ever since.
Yeah, he actually took the E pawn, and we could look at that one afterwards. But you decided to play safe with Bishop D7.
Yeah, safe-ish. I'm still struggling for a way to develop, aren't I?
Well, it looks like you're trying to castle queenside. Maybe
Yeah.
that you've moved your king. Maybe.
Did I try to, and you told me off?
No.
Yeah, I did that in a tournament once. Well, you wouldn't have been laughing if you'd beaten it.
Well,
now,
it seems if you did castle, Colin, and Andrew, if you hadn't noticed that he'd already moved his king,
yeah,
the game would continue. But it would be difficult to play it through from a PGN, wouldn't it? Because it would just be illegal.
It would, yeah.
Well, in those days, they only had descriptive notation. This is, you know, this is going back a bit.
I think it's fair to say that I'm more than aware that he hadn't played king.
I'd like to think I was aware of that too.
Yeah. You might prefer to overlook the fact, but I wasn't.
But if you join the call now, you would make the assumption 100% that black is about to castle.
Right.
Yeah, and win the game.
Yeah.
In the game. Peace out.
Yeah.
So white now castles being side.
Okay.
And you decide to go knight a5, hitting the bishop.
Yeah. So it doesn't even let me try. It doesn't let me castle. Yeah. Okay, well, that seems sensible enough.
Bishop d3, keeping the peace.
Yeah.
And now you played a very imaginative knight c6.
Oh no. That's the sort of rubbish I'd come out with, you know. I'd probably still play this sort of stuff.
You're probably hoping for a draw, were you? I don't know.
Did you mean to play c6 with the pawn?
That might run into b4.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think the problem is there aren't that many moves for.
There just aren't that many moves for me.
Yeah.
I mean, c5 kind of looks a bit suicidal, but has some sense.
Yeah, so you're maybe opening the center.
Can you play? Can you? Oh no, I was just.
Maybe something like rook f8 or something would make some sense.
Knight d5 might be awkward, actually.
Yeah.
I wanted to
Or
take.
rook e1, then knight d5. It's just an unpleasant position for black, to be fair.
Yeah.
So maybe the whole knight a5 thing was just misconceived.
But you do get back into it. I do go rather mad, I think. So I now play rook de1.
Extremely sensible.
And I do comment that that you would be delighted to be able to do castle queenside now.
Yeah.
But now you play king d8.
Okay. Getting there a move at a time.
And now your move that you mentioned a minute ago, knight d5.
Okay.
Of which you decided not to take it. You went queen e6.
It's devil all the deep blue sea, isn't it? Queen e6. Oh, do I want to play queen takes pawn? Is that my kind?
You're eyeing that up, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
So I played c4 now.
Put the kibosh on that nonsense.
Knight e7.
Okay. So white was threatening knight takes knight and d5, regaining the piece, possibly amongst other things. Yep.
So who prefers white and who prefers black? Black's a piece up still.
I prefer white.
You've got quite a solid looking position. Okay, so I now went knight f4. I've not checked any of these moves out. I don't know whether they're good or bad, but knight c4, hitting the queen. And you went queen g8, tucking it away nicely.
Yeah, I guess. That showed you. Yeah.
And now time for some action. So I've got all my pieces out. They're all on good squares. So we may as well try and break through the center. So e5. Hitting the knight, obviously. And again, you don't take anything. You're keeping everything going. You go knight e8 to keep that blockade.
Doesn't look totally unreasonable.
No. And now I'm probably thinking of playing e6. We've got it covered at the moment. So I went bishop g1, perhaps, to try and play e6 next move. But it's slightly offside there. And you went bishop f5. So now you start to get back in the game, or whether you might be in the game more long, but your pieces suddenly get out.
It's like who's the tempo, basically.
Andrew, just analysing quickly, I can see e6 would have worked.
Was it
Well,
what?
It wasn't covered. So a few moves back, you could have played e6.
Instead of bishop g1.
Yes.
So e6, bishop takes e6,
Knight takes.
queen takes.
Bishop g5.
Right.
Ouch.
Yeah. Although you could play queen d7, you're getting a few pieces for the queen.
Yes.
So yeah, I guess.
So I'll just put it on the board so we can look at the body count. So 16, yeah, it's not totally lopsided, is it?
But white is winning, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be taking white every day.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if black's pieces were more active and king's safer, but
Yeah.
yeah,
But they're all on the back rank. Yeah.
all on the back rank, the king, except the king.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah.
So you
should have seen that.
Yeah, maybe you'd have just retreated the bishop as well after e6. Perhaps maybe you wouldn't have taken it anyway.
Yeah, but White's obviously made progress there, hasn't he?
Yeah. So I went bishop g1.
It's got to go to c8, doesn't it? Because if it goes there, just d5 and b3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's still blocked position then.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so bishop g1, bishop f5 now. So you're kind of getting out.
Okay.
I decided to open the center with ed. And you took that back with the knight. So what would any suggestions now for white? Piece down for a pawn still. I've kind of opened up the center a little bit, but black's starting to unwind. He's got his pieces they're looking rather dangerous-ish. He's threatening knight takes c4 maybe, or bishop takes bishop, and then queen takes c4. So black's sort of sprung his pieces out a bit.
Can we play bishop takes f5 and then knight e6 check?
Okay.
That's what I was thinking, but that's not really achieving.
No, I'm not saying it's it. I think as I always say, it's probably what I would have played if this was my game, but that's.
Yeah.
Actually, do I have to take with the other knight? Otherwise, c5 discombobulates me.
Well,
Yeah, I was.
How about c5 first?
Yeah.
Oh.
Instead of bishop takes bishop.
Yeah.
Allowing bishop takes bishop, because then the queen's on a good square.
Maybe knight c4.
Oh, that's a good point.
Maybe.
I don't know. I think
No,
the f5's. Oh no, it's check. It's check.
I was going to say queen e2, but it's bishop.
Ooh, that's all very sharp, isn't it?
Queen c2.
Well, queen e2 threatens e7 with check.
Yeah.
It doesn't work, does it?
Why not?
Because hang on, because
the bishop's protected by the knight as well as the queen. So yeah, that looks fairly very strong.
Okay, well that might have been better than what I did, but that's not what I did. So shall I tell you what I did, or do you want to guess?
I think I remember actually.
It's a bit of a speculative move.
You didn't go rook takes e7.
I did, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good.
And I've got a knight d5 check if he takes it. So Colin decided to take on d3. Bishop takes d3.
Hang on, what happens if he takes it? Sorry, I missed that. King take.
I'm not sure, really, but I probably would have played.
Sorry.
No, knight d5 check.
Yeah, that's what I meant to put on the board.
how do you follow up?
And then bishop takes f5 because they got the rook. So Not conclusive, but it's I'm winning 2 pieces for the rook, I suppose. Bishop takes bishop now. I like king moves and bishop takes bishop.
Yeah. It's hard to know where the king should go. We'll say
Yeah.
there then. So black's the exchange up, is that right?
Yeah, probably.
But his king is still in no man's land.
Limbo Jimbo.
Well, at least the other rook's coming out now, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, it's not totally clear, is it?
White's next move is queen f4, I'd say, threatening queen takes c7 check.
Hmm. Yeah.
Or queen b4 with
Yeah.
the threat of queen to e7.
Yeah, another one.
Hmm. Hmm.
So there is some danger there. So that's probably why Colin went bishop takes d3 instead. Didn't take the rook. No, any suggestions as to White's next move?
Rook takes bishop,
Yeah.
and then knight e6 for fork.
Yeah. Rook takes B. Rook
Oh!
takes B. That's good.
Rook takes bishop, queen takes c4 check.
Yes.
Ah. Oh.
Ah,
And then bishop takes rook.
Hmm.
Knight E6 check. No. Hmm.
c6 check, then we'll take king takes rook.
Yeah. Got to be something better, isn't there?
Rook takes bishop.
We tried that.
Rook takes bishop in g7. There's white to move.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hmm.
Hmm. Not good.
Yeah, back attack.
Knight D5.
Yeah, that's what I played.
Yeah, that looks natural.
It does.
And Colin, obviously a materialist,
Take
Yeah.
the rook.
but the rook.
Yeah, totally. Some things don't change.
Yeah, no, go for it.
Well,
Yeah. The
you
thing
don't
is,
have a choice. I don't know.
I think by now, both of us have got virtually no time left, I think. So we were both time trouble addicts, I think. So what do you think I played, net white now played?
Ooh.
He takes pawn.
Rook takes pawn. It's a bit slow. Bishop takes c4. Oh, well, then,
c6,
which one?
c6.
To kick away the.
White to play, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm sorry, c5. I mean.
c5.
Queen
Oh,
A5.
no. Queen takes. No, ignore.
I've got no recollection of this position. Maybe I've selective amnesia.
Yeah, blanked it out.
Shall I give you a clue?
Queen A5, B6, Queen A4.
Queen a5. Who suggested that?
Julian.
Yeah, that's the move. Threatens mate, checkmate in one move. Queen a5.
Yeah. I thought of Queen A5, but I just dismissed it
Yes, so did I.
because B6.
Then he played Queen A4.
Yeah, yeah, it's good.
That's range, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Queen
very good. Put it on the board.
Queen A5, Rook C8.
Sorry. Where's Julian?
Well,
Sorry.
Julian's not got his picture up, but he's there.
Okay, hi Julian.
It's a pretty good picture too. Frequently mentioned that.
It doesn't improve things with the picture, so.
Sorry, I missed the analysis. Sorry, what should I put on the board? I'll beg your
Queen
pardon.
A5, please.
Oh, Queen A5. Is that what you played, Andrew?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think we were both down to a minute each or something.
Okay, and there wouldn't be an increment, of course.
No such
Yeah.
thing.
So did I say Rook C8 here? And Black's looks to be holding it
Rook c8.
and winning.
Really?
Sorry, I'm just guessing. Sorry.
What about rook takes c7?
B6.
Queen takes a7?
Sorry, rook c8,
Yeah,
Rook C7,
rook c7,
B6,
Queen takes A7.
Queen A7.
Oh, that's quite nasty.
how about a move which doesn't, how about queen takes knight then?
But now,
Ooh,
rook
You got some
D7
spare
check.
pieces.
Oh no, rook D7 check.
King E8. Yeah.
And
Yeah, of course. You can't take the queen.
Yeah, I'll take that back. That move.
No,
Just take the queen.
Yeah, pawn takes queen.
no, but you can go rook. Can't you go rook E7 a check after that? Oh,
Let's check.
Yeah, yeah, that's a very clever move. Who came up with that one?
Oh, that's annoying.
Me, but not at the time. Was that
he's been
40,
cursing himself
46,
ever since.
56 years too late or something? 46 years too late, maybe.
Yeah, so that rook C8 move has some merits for whoever came up with that.
Yeah, Mark, I think.
have you got the engine on, Mark?
Oh God, no, don't put that on.
It's called his
No,
brain.
no.
Oh, hang on, rook takes rook.
Hang on, no, it's black. It's black.
Oh no, it's b6 we played here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry. So this move, this position.
I could play rook takes rook and then move the queen if you do that. So rook takes C7, B6.
Sorry.
Now I do have other moves here, which are. I mean, for example, could I play rook D7 check? Is that a move?
It is now.
Queen A7 check.
Very nice.
Oh, yeah,
This, I'm horribly afraid this might work.
that
King
looks
E6. King E6.
got to.
Queen E7 check.
Yeah.
King F5.
Attack rages.
Ooh.
Oh, but
Queen D7 check.
I might be going. I don't know where I'm going.
He's going to go G.
can't we play queen E6?
Yeah, queen e6. Queen e6.
Well, then you can take the bishop off.
Yeah, but it's not check. It's,
How many pieces am I down now?
this is
I'm
Dara's go first.
Too many.
Two rooks. No, two rooks and a bishop.
Oh, hang on. What about knight E3 check here?
Yeah, that's a move.
Yeah, that has a
Move.
Okay.
that has a nice look to it.
King G6.
King G6. Still take the knight.
I still take with the knight with check. Yeah. Well, is king f4 better? It looks suicidal, but
Take the knight with check.
yeah. Yeah, we got. Oh no, sorry, the knight's protected. What am I thinking? Yeah.
It's mating as well.
The king goes to H7 and is
Colin, you can only lose this game once, you know, mate. Don't feel badly.
I had nightmares. I was losing it every night for the next 6 months.
Andrew Smith, he knows no mercy.
Okay, well that didn't happen.
So that was an opportunity missed then. Fancy missing rooks. What did I do then?
So you played B6 instead of rook C8.
Okay.
The rook's back on A8.
Yeah.
Queen A4.
Which was Julian's line he spotted a while back.
Yeah. And
This is a terminal.
you're in a bit of trouble now. So you not many moves that you can play. I think you
Catch your
play.
pants. What are you going to do?
King C8. No, that does nothing works. What?
No, hang on. There is. Can you play B5?
Oh, that's a point.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
It's hardly the move of the.
Queen A5 again.
Queen A5.
Ugh. Then rook c8.
Then rook,
Oh.
yeah.
And then queen.
Well, it's less effective here because b6 doesn't follow, but still.
Yeah.
So what happened, Andrew? Did I play?
Well, you played instead of B5, you played Queen E8 because you are quite a lot of material up, aren't you?
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
that's a clever move.
It's a move.
You can trade everything and then check on C7, can't you?
I took that. Rook takes queen.
Well, call me a materialist.
Rook takes E8.
Yeah.
And another mate in one threat.
Queen C6.
Queen C6, yeah. How many pieces? You've got a rook, 2 rooks, and bishop against the queen. So you got more. You got enough material. So you now played rook C8.
Yeah.
Forced,
It's a very positional game, this one, isn't
it? By my standards.
So now what would you do as white? How would you
Bishop H2?
What's that?
Yeah, bishop H2.
Yeah, that's the move. That bishop's been doing that. Suddenly
That would have been an irritating move to me.
So now I know he had no time left at all. We're both in desperate time trouble now. And you found bishop takes C4.
Oh, okay. I was looking at bishop takes G2 to take the knight off, but is that the same idea?
Same idea, yeah. And as a hidden threat. Now, what would you suggest for white?
Well, you've got to be careful not to take the knight.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well,
Bishop takes knight, pawn takes queen as mate.
I suppose you play bishop takes knight.
Yeah.
Back.
Ah, good point.
Yeah, clever.
Knight's got a shot in his lock.
God, I was clever in those days.
Yeah.
Knight takes C7.
Yeah. Is it Rhino? Is it your name?
Yeah.
You know, he's on my wavelength, I think. Knight takes C7.
Yeah.
He's a fellow hacker, obviously.
No comment.
Good player.
So now your flag hanging. What do you think you played now, Colin? Any ideas?
Rook takes knight. Okay, that's clever.
You've
Well,
got the bishop, the black bishop, the bishop on C4's got to move, hasn't it?
Can we play
Is rook takes knight actually playable here?
No.
Queen takes knight check, rook D7.
Well then. Oh.
At your age? Come on.
Goodness me.
At my age as I was then, or as I am now?
Yeah, actually, good point. Actually,
I've kind of gone downhill since those days. So.
I don't know.
Chess has improved, but otherwise, yeah.
It looks like you could have played rook takes C7 here, doesn't it? But
maybe rook E1 check.
I like rook E1. I always like checks.
Yeah, especially in time trouble.
Check's always a good move.
You actually played a tricky move back here. You were trying to catch me out with the next move.
Oh, good. Did I play a bishop D5 or something like that? No.
Now that would be surreal.
Bishop B5.
No.
I can't believe I played anything tricky at all.
Against all those moves, I played queen takes D6 mate.
Yeah.
It's a move that stops the mate and that lays a trap. Which in
Bishop
the time,
F8.
Knight B5?
No, queen takes E8 then, which will be mate.
Oh, that's a good point.
Bishop will go on knight.
Well spotted me at the time.
The knight B5.
Yeah, knight B5, queen takes E8 is mate because the blasted bishop on H2 is protecting the knight.
Oh.
Yeah, most irritating. Was it a good move as well as a tricky move?
It was a good move. I'll give it an exclamation mark in my book.
Crikey. I'm definitely going to buy your book if you've given me an exclamation mark.
So what's wrong with?
It's probably the only one I gave you.
Fair enough.
I didn't want to get carried away.
What's wrong with rook E1?
Nothing. Well, I mean, it's a move. I don't know what's wrong with it, but it wasn't what was played. I'll probably play king D2.
There's
Rook
a
E2.
vague argument for king E7, but that's not particularly trapping.
Then I'd just take your knight, wouldn't I?
Yeah, I know, but does my king escape? I said vague argument. I don't know.
With one leap, he was free.
I just wanted to get the rook down to E1, and then you haven't got those funny other threats.
Well, after King D2, I suppose.
Rook E2, check.
and then King
I
D1.
imagine I wanted to keep the king on the C file for trap purposes, but can't see what good it did me, to be honest.
You've got a move that protects the knight and sets a trap.
Oh, rook E6.
Yeah.
Yeah, rook
Ah,
E6.
yeah.
Knight takes rook check, bishop takes knight.
Yeah.
Okay. God.
Clever.
Excellent.
That's not a bad move, is it?
Well, that's a luxury, isn't it?
So I now decided bishop takes D6.
Yes.
Bishop takes.
Oh, excuse me. Bishop D6.
Yeah.
Small.
And you now
Takes knight.
I just sort of say with no time left, it's desperate for both players. Black is holding on grimly and still has 2 rooks against my queen. And you play bishop takes A2 now.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. That's what?
And
Well,
James
you
is
wouldn't
shocked.
lose the bishop.
It's a pawn. It's a pawn, James. Oh, come on. Let's have a pawn. I can't explain it either. Well, the bishop was on praise.
so
Well,
now
it sort of threatens the queen against, the pin of the queen against the king.
Yeah, it does.
I
Remove
see why you
pressure
did
from
it.
C
Yeah.
file.
Any bishop move wasn't such a bad move, actually.
And it stops the king from going to B1, I guess.
I actually now make an error and
Get away.
You might be winning after my next move.
Ooh.
Yeah. How horrible.
So, the move I should have played is, according to this, is King
Tune in
D2.
next week for the.
King D2, which threatens knight takes E6 mate. That's what I should have
Oh,
played.
right.
And then it kind of forces you to take my knight. Rook takes
Sorry,
knight.
say that again. King D2.
Yeah, threatens knight E6 mate. Knight E6 mate.
Bishop takes.
Ah, okay. My analysis is rubbish then. Oh yeah.
I don't understand why.
Or maybe it's not mate. Yeah, I suppose it's still a good move, I suppose, but I thought that was mate, but it's not. But it's
You
probably
can
still
still-
winning.
You can still take on E6 with check.
Yes, I
can't
can
we?
still
Oh,
take it.
certainly. Yeah.
But I actually made a mistake here. Instead of King D2, I played D5.
It's also very eminently tempting.
It looks good.
It does look good.
Yeah, and this is where you crack under pressure. What do you think you played, and what should you have played? I hadn't analysed it.
E5.
Rook takes bishop, queen takes his mate. So I hope I didn't play that.
Yeah.
Probably rook takes knight.
Rook takes knight. I'd probably just take that, and then rook take both rooks then.
Oh, and then take the rook.
No, it's the bishop, black bishop,
With the bishop.
Well,
other pawn.
same difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you play?
I reckon it's that flaming check now.
I can't really see a great idea somehow.
I'll tell you what you played. But you played the under severe pressure. You played double question mark rook G6.
Rook G6.
It was attacked.
The rook was attacked. It's got to go somewhere.
Yeah. Queen E8 mate.
Queen E8 mate. Yeah.
Oh, that was a shame.
That's how it
It's
finished.
like it was good apart from that.
However, instead of rook G6, you have a good move there.
So it's got to go along the E file somewhere if I'm moving it, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, is there any?
E4.
Rook E4. Rook E4.
Threatening rook C4 check.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
you might even come out on top after
Oh,
that.
Gosh.
Crikey. I had to find a lot of fairly decent moves to get here even.
Mm.
So in this position, you've got 2 rooks and a bishop against, and a pawn against the queen. So you're materially, you're doing well, and you've got rook c4 check. It's quite a dangerous threat, I think.
Got king d2 here.
King d2, yeah, maybe I mean, there's a rook d4 check.
oh,
Yeah,
Yeah, the game
That's unclear,
continues,
isn't it?
doesn't it?
it's unclear, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was our game from 1976. So
It was a good game.
Very
86,
good.
90,
I'm exhausted now. I mean, I'm glad.
Good game.
35, 36 years ago, is it?
40,
More than that.
46 years, isn't it?
46 years ago, yeah.
5.5
Half a
years. Wow.
century's gone by.
Yeah, we haven't changed a bit, have we?
No, it was just looked the same.
I thought
It wasn't that bad a game actually.
that was very impressive. I mean, I thought your defense, Colin, all the way throughout, apart from right at the very end. But
No, he shouldn't have played King E8.
but to take all those risks, Andrew, as well.
It wasn't an improvement on Copham's game then.
Yeah, that was my normal chess at that time. I just, I thought nothing of the piece here, a piece there. It didn't make much difference to me. That's how I played chess.
Yeah, I would
Very good.
never have played like that. It was brilliant.
But as you
Nice
can
game,
see,
Andrew. Nice game.
As you can see, it goes wrong. It would have gone wrong a number of times. Just occasionally, it comes off.
Mm. Very good. Thank you very much. Well, we've had three good
Brilliant.
games
Yeah.
tonight.
Very good.
yeah, very good.
Yeah,
And,
nice game.
and as is often the case for an informal session where we don't put anything as the theme or advertise anything, we get excellent contributions. So thank you to Andrew, Mark, who else?
Luke and John.
Oh,
Colin,
Colin, exactly. So that's great. Thank you very
Colin
much.
appeared
all of you.
twice.